So question 4 is, what is your epic dream?
Oh, 40 acres and a mule. That was easy. So listen, all right. So I've got this vision where I want 40 acres. And so, okay, of course, the 40 acres and a mule is a throwback to when we were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule back in the days of extension. Okay. So now when I say 40 acres, doesn't necessarily mean 40 acres. In my mind, it's more like 200 acres. So on this land, oh, wow. So I envision myself with a straw hat, overalls and boots. And I envision myself with young boys who are coming out to the land, maybe during the summertime, like 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. They're spending time with me, and we're on this land, and we're learning agriculture, we're learning self-identity because we understand our history. I'm also teaching them combative because I think everybody should know how to defend themselves. But I definitely believe young males should know how to defend themselves. It gives them a renewed sense of confidence.
And welcome to another edition of King Crush Thursday, the series where we highlight and uplift Black men, because frankly, not too many people are doing it. My name is Val Gay, and I'm super excited to bring this brother to you. He is a lot of things. He is a man he's a founder of a nonprofit that focuses on families. He is a father of 4 girls. He also is an award-winning leader, including the recipient of a Be Me Genius Award. And, he has earned a Ph.D. But as he says in the story, one of the things he's most proud of his story is that he has gone from a GED to a Ph.D. And he's also gone from being a convicted felon to a firearms instructor. So he is proof positive that it doesn't matter, that your past, even the unfortunate and negative things in your past, is not a predictor of your future. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Shawn Gardner. Hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing? Glad to be here.
I'm glad that you are here. Thank you so much. And so we are here to bust some more myths and to open the narrow narrative around Black men in the world. And with the ultimate goal of having young kings who may or may not have positive Black male role models in their lives to come and see this repository that we're building of 6 questions and over 100 answers by over 100 different positive and successful Black men. And that perhaps they can see those same questions answered in all these different ways and find guidance there. And for the rest of us who are neither male or even Black, for us to be able to take a look into these questions and perhaps have our minds expanded by the many different answers. And so I'm so glad that you're here to contribute to this conversation and this repository. So I'm going to get started with the first question, which is, what does manhood mean to you?
Responsibility. I think that answer may sound cliche, but I think the older I get, the more I recognize that life is about what is my contribution. What is my contribution to my success? What is my contribution to the community? So I think manhood to me is about being responsible.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you. So, Dr. Shawn, who and or what is important to you?
I think when it comes down to it, I want everybody to be able to live to their full potential, myself included. I think so many times that we're vessels, and like Les Brown said, all the ideas, right, and dreams die in the graveyard. So as people, I love to see us live to our full potential. So for example, you doing the show, interviewing people, I gotta believe this is part of your purpose, your calling, living to your full potential, enlightening others, and also giving folks like me a platform. So I think that it's about making sure that I do what I can to help people, achieve their full potential.
Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. So how do you want us to see you?
I didn't see that question coming. That's a good question. I think that, wow, that's a good question. As someone who believes in others, as someone who does my very best to add value, to those around me, and do whatever I can. I think that to do everything, whatever I can, so that young boys that look like me have an ideal that it's not the end. See, when I was young, I thought those milestones, 14 or 13, and then 16 because you can drive, and then 18 because you're an adult, and then 21 because you're an absolute adult, and then 25. Each of those milestones, I never thought I'd make it to. I always thought I'd end up dead. And it's crazy that up to 21, I thought I'd end up dead by the hands of another person like me, just because of the lifestyle I was living or whatever. To 25, from 21 to 25, I thought police would kill me. I know it's crazy, right? That I felt like because of all the life I lived up to that point, I figured, okay, one day I get pulled over and something crazy will happen, and so for me, I want to do whatever I can, one, to just change that narrative. So whether it be working with young Black boys and to get them to places, to give them a renewed hope on life. I just got back from Alaska, and while I was there, the guy I went down with, Burst, an older white man. He's my buddy, he's my friend. He's 62, and he afforded me the opportunity to travel there. And while I was there, I couldn't help but think, had I seen this when I was 14, 15 years old, I might have understood that there's so much that the world has to offer. And so for me, it's what can I do to change that narrative? What can I change? What can I do to change the narrative of people who allow adversity to strangle them, right? So when moms and dads get together and they can't communicate effectively with each other, and as a family court mediator, that's one of the many hats I hold. One of the things that people love to say is, well, it's all about the children. It's all about the children. Well, that's one narrative. The other narrative is about the individual, mom and dad, who have got to figure out how to live their life in such a way that they don't blame the other person, so that they can work together, so that they can be there for their children. So if there's anything or any way I want people to see me, it's in that light, doing the best I can, knowing I have shortcomings, working to always overcome those shortcomings and leave a lasting difference.
Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. So question 4 is, what is your epic dream?
Oh, 40 acres and a mule. That was easy. So listen, all right. So I've got this vision where I want 40 acres. And so, okay, of course, the 40 acres and a mule is a throwback to when we were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule back in the days of extension. Okay. So now when I say 40 acres, doesn't necessarily mean 40 acres. In my mind, it's more like 200 acres. So on this land, oh wow. So I envision myself with a straw hat, overalls, and boots. And I envision myself with young boys who are coming out to the land, maybe during the summertime, like 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. They're spending time with me, and we're on this land, and we're learning agriculture, we're learning self-identity because we understand our history. I'm also teaching them combatives because I think everybody should know how to defend themselves. But I definitely believe young males should know how to defend themselves. It gives them a renewed sense of confidence. Then on top of that, teach them gun safety, go out hunting. One day I envision when they come out, before they leave, we go hiking and we get lost. And then when we get lost, we got to live off the land and figure this out and just see how the boys navigate that. So on this land, so I have a conference center, be like a conference center where we can do professional development for companies and organizations. Then we have agriculture, so folks can come out and learn about living off the land. Then on top of that, we have a shooting area where we have berms and people can come out and do gun safety. And then we have camping, and we have camping in various ways. We have over here, we have the tent. So those of you who want to go into the shipping containers and pull out all the stuff you need and set up a tent, you can do that. Over here, we have some makeshift cabins where they're not those really plush cabins that you go to. I'm talking about you're still roughing it. You just got a more of a structure around you than the tent. But that's my vision. My vision is to be able to do that and just have people come out, especially from the urban environment, and just understand what it means to live off the land and have people actually spend some time with me, not just come out for the weekend. I'm talking about, man, can you imagine me with 30, 40 young Black boys and we out here for a month? And I'm talking about cell phones over there. Cell phones don't even work out here. And even if they do, I'm gonna get a jammer so they don't work. So cell phones don't work. I mean, we're actually out here in the land. We're not getting online. We're not playing video games. I mean, for about 30 days, you're with me and we're figuring this out. And not only, here's the thing. As it grows, it'll be places for the ladies to come and all that. And also a place for the fathers. So many fathers want to take their families camping, but they don't take their families camping because they're scared, because they never did it. They don't know how to do it as the leader and protector of their home. They don't want to go to a place that can't show up in that space. So not only do we do this for the boys, but we do it for the men who don't know how to do it, teach them how to do it, and allow them to be a space for them to bring their family. So that's the vision, 40 acres and a mule. And that's, of course, associated with 2 Not 1, because we're moving in therapeutic services. So we'll have our urban component, office space, but then when we go out into the wilderness, it's the 40 acres. That was easy.
Wow. Yes, that was easy. Amazing. Wow, that is amazing. And yes, I can see all of it. I can see all of it. That's awesome. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So you've been answering question 5 all along implicitly, but I'm going to ask you explicitly. Dr. Shawn Gardner, who are you?
Wow. You said I've been answering that question. Okay, I'm gonna take your word for it. I know one thing. I'm someone who is constantly working to figure this out. You know, there's no handbook. There's no right or wrong. There's just life. And just for the record, when I say there's no right or wrong, we know there's a right and wrong. But I'm saying that in terms of every individual life, and I'm speaking of mine specifically, there's no right or wrong. There's just the way that I move. And if I'm moving in the right direction, then we see the benefits of that. If I'm moving in a direction that's not yielding the fruit that I want, I need to pivot. So that's not necessarily a right or wrong. It's more so am I effective or ineffective? And that's pretty much who I am. Just someone who wants to grow. I also recognize I don't have as many calendars in front of me as I do behind me. So I want to take advantage of this time. It's not always easy. But that's who I am. Somebody wants to make the most out of this and support as many other people in the process as I can along the way.
Awesome. That's awesome. Excellent. So here we are already at question 6.
Already.
It's so fast.
If only the listeners understood how much went into us getting to question 6.
But we're here. We are here. Yes. And so question 6, is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you, or that you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? In other words, what did I miss?
Thank you. I appreciate that question. I think that I love talking about what I feel sets me apart. And what I feel sets me apart, you alluded to it earlier. So I got credentials behind me, like many people. And of course, one credential that stands out is GED to Ph.D. So the Ph.D. in itself is major because we know, I think less than 1% of the population are Black men with Ph.D.s. And I have my Ph.D. from a major land-grant institution. And while that's beautiful in itself, the fact that I got a GED, I mean, I was kicked out of every school I went to. I was marginally homeless as a child. I was emancipated by the courts at 16, meaning a judge said, okay, you're mature enough to be on your own. While at 16, I thought that was great. In hindsight, it was one of the worst things that could have happened to me. So GED to PhD, I often talk about that. And it was a roller coaster ride. And it's crazy now with those credentials of Dr. Gardner, I see even academics in a different light. For a while, I was so steadfast that you got to go to college, you got to go to college. And now I'm more firm set on the idea that you have to be educated. And there's so many ways we can do that now. There's EDX online. So if you want to go to the certificate and be able to negotiate that. And then, of course, along the lines, you're going to need some mentors to help you figure this out, right? Because it's not set in stone. It's not written down. But there's ways around this. And then if you're not going to go to college or anything of that nature, then trade school. Listen, here's the deal. As you grow, you learn. Trade school is beautiful. If my air goes out, I need to call one of those guys and come up and fix it, especially in the middle of the night. They're going to charge me what they charge me, then a little extra, waking them up out of their sleep, right? So I see life in that capacity different. And then I also see life different as a firearms instructor. So you're saying, so I don't think people understand that at age 49, I was able to start carrying a gun when I got my partner in 2015, and I got my first gun in 2020. And in 2020, so now here I am, a USCCA instructor, Department of Criminal Justice training instructor. I'm one of the very few NSSF, National Shooting Sports Federation, first shots instructor. I think I'm the only one in the state of Kentucky. That's where you take people who don't know much about guns and you take them to the range and teach them. I'm also an NRA instructor. And I think soon I'll be working on the NADAGA instructor, and I also become a DOCJT instructor trainer. I can train people to become instructors. Why is that important? It's important because I think that when you think about Black America, and I know there's a lot going on right now in terms of the gun debate. I don't want to get into the political side of it, but I want to say this. One thing that amazes me is that we're always talking about equality, and one of the ways that we can get there is to exercise our Second Amendment right. And I don't know. I think that's sometimes it concerns me, because I believe that people should be able to defend themselves. And I also know that with all the shootings going on, I know people are concerned about their safety. Until we can get to a place of a clean slate where there's no guns, I believe that people should be able to defend themselves. And so when you ask me what do I want to share about myself that we didn't talk about, I think would be those two things: my perspective on education, and then my perspective on gun rights. And it's sad that when I travel the country as someone who works with families and fathers, if I go in certain communities, in rural communities with America that doesn't look like me, then guns is a fluid part of their life. It's hunting, it's competition shooting, it's, hey son, here's your rifle with 13 or 16, and let's go out here into the wilderness. Now, just for the record, that's not too far removed from who we are as a people, because guess what? In Africa, we have the rites of passage, where go out here and let's come back with what we got to come back with, right? And so somewhere along the line, there's been a huge disconnect. And I hate that our kids never get the opportunity to be kids, especially in that light. When I talk to people about gun safety and I'm going to educate our kids, what I hear is, you're going to teach our kids how to kill. And that just saddens me, because our kids should be able to be kids as well. And one final aspect of that gun safety, one thing that my organization does, so as an instructor, of course, I partner with our nonprofit, and we started doing gun safety and violence prevention workshops where we did the stop the bleed and how to safely store your firearm. We did those at the gun range, because what we found is there's a number of people in our community who have firearms, have never shot them, but they would tell you they have them for self-defense. And my biggest fear is that somebody has a firearm for self-defense, they harm themselves. So we take them to the gun range and we teach them firearm safety. Out of 185 people, we had about 65 children. And then out of that, we've also have a therapist that's there with us, because we have people who are dealing with gun-related trauma and have guns. So, it's all about education, firearm safety, and then everybody living to their full potential.
Understood. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you are here. I'm so glad that you contribute to this repository. And I just honor you, my king. And I pray that your epic 40 acres and a mule dream comes true sooner rather than later.
That's going to come true. Yes, sir. That's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah. Excellent.
And I appreciate you. Listen, I appreciate you, sister, for doing this, because I think sometimes we men in our community don't get, I don't think we want praise. Well, how about an acknowledgement? It doesn't always have to be that we're killing each other. And then two, on top of that, not only that, but your patience. Again, and us having this conversation, right, that people may not know about, your patience and still willingness and alacrity to have me on the show. So thank you.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thank you. So stay right there, because I want to thank the audience for joining us today. Mm-hmm. I really hope that you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And if there is a positive Black man in your life that you want to see highlighted in this forum, please click the link below or in my bio, fill out the nomination form, and we'll take it from there. We have already passed our goal of 100 Black men. That was phase 1. So we're in phase 2. I'm not even going to put an end cap on it. One day I may say a number, but right now, keep them coming, because we really want to shine a light on as many brothers as possible. And I say this all the time: success does not equal what a person does for a living. As long as it's legal, it's really about the impact that he has on the people around him, starting with the nuclear family and then going large to the larger community. Those are the brothers that we want to bring into this conversation. They may be an award-winning Genius Award winner or not. We want to have the full spectrum, because we want to reach as many young people as possible and have them be inspired, and perhaps their lives can be changed. So stay tuned next week for yet another amazing king. And in the meantime, please remember to spread love and have a great day. Thank you so much. And Dr. Shawn, thank you so much. That was really awesome. Thank you.
You for having me.